Hey everybody, welcome back. So I listened to one of my favorite podcasts today, and it kind of inspired me. I've been trying on this channel to keep it really light, positive, and I still want to do that. But I've also not really put anything out there like seriously. I don't know if I was afraid of controversy or, it's really easy on social media, YouTube, whatever, to get really negative feedback. And I'm actually not afraid of that, but I think I've held back. I've done, I think, 150 videos now, and some of them I think are pretty good. Some of them, need some help. But I was looking back at my videos, and one I did a few weeks ago around my fire pit. By the way, I'm still in my hotel room in Oklahoma City, just outside Oklahoma City, but I'll be back home next week, and I'll try and do some podcasts in my little studio that my kids built me and around the fire. Try and get a little better ambiance than a hotel room. But for now, it is what it is. Anyway, I was looking back at a video that actually, for me, seemed to get some attention, some response. And it was definitely a deeper video, talking about, going through tough times in life. And I actually had somebody reach out to me on the comments, and I responded to that person, but I haven't heard back, which worries me. They were in a bad way, and I hope I helped them. I don't know if I did because I never heard back again. So I'm really hoping that person is okay. And but I talked a fair bit about the darkest time in my life, which was going through my divorce. And I thought I didn't really know what I was shooting for with that video. I just kind of, I've said all along, I do these, so I'm trying to figure out, why am I doing these videos? What is the purpose of this? It's a small time channel. I know that. I say it all the time. I kind of do this as a diary, a video diary for myself. But if I'm being honest, I really hope that maybe I reach some people, maybe help some people. And I felt like that video maybe did a little bit. I mean, I want them to be entertaining. I want people to be able to watch them and say, hey, this is a cool channel. I want to subscribe to this guy. I never want to come across as pretentious or judgmental or better than anybody else, because that's certainly never what I'm shooting for. I have my whole life been friendly with almost everybody I meet. I try to take every person I meet on an individual basis. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you look like. I will probably be friends with you because I'm just a friendly guy. There's very few people in my life that I've ever had big issues with. I mean, it doesn't happen, not everybody gets along with everybody. But, I felt like if I can do something that helps even one person, then maybe I can do some good here. I've been around the block a while. I'm 60 years old, going to be 61 here in, a couple weeks. So I feel like I have some life experience, and maybe I can give a little bit of advice, some knowledge out there. So I wanted to go a little bit deeper into, because this person that reached out to me asked me what I did specifically to get through that really rough time of my life. And this was 30 years, almost exactly 30 years ago now, but it was going on for a year or two. My ex-wife and I were on the verge of divorce for quite a while. And frankly, it should have ended long before it did. I just wasn't brave enough to end it. She finally did. And I'm actually really grateful to her for that, because I've said it before, her and I were really good friends. Then we got married and we had some good times and it was okay. She's a great person, but we just didn't mesh as man and wife. And so I'm really glad that she took the initiative and ended the marriage. We just weren't suited for each other. I mean, there was nothing horrible going on. It's just, some people just don't fit. My wife, now that I've been married to, in fact, Saturday is our 28th anniversary, and I'm going to be out of town, which sucks. But that happens quite a bit with my job, my work. I'm just gone for a lot of big things, and I'm working on fixing that and changing that. But it's rough. But her and I work. We love hanging out together. It's funny because we're very opposite from each other. I'm an extrovert, no question about it. Very social person, and not that she's not, but I'm just, I'm go all the time. I want to party all the time, like Eddie Murphy said, if you're familiar with that cheesy song from the 80s. But it works. So this really tough time was 30 years ago. Now, let's say from 29 to 30 years ago, or 30 to 31 years ago, I'm sorry. And I was in a dark place. This person that reached out to me asked me, did you ever think about ending it? And I grew up in a very religious home. And that kind of thing, obviously it's frowned on by everybody. I'm talking about suicide, obviously. It's frowned on by, I think, everybody. But some religions look at it differently than others. And ours definitely looked at it as a sin. And so that had me scared. I left that church 25 years ago. I still have a lot of respect for it. A lot of my family's still in it. A lot of my friends are still in it. But it had me so scared in so many ways. Growing up, there were things I didn't do that I wish I'd have done. There's experiences I never experienced because I was scared of basically the wrath of God, So when I went through my divorce, I was still kind of clinging on to that church. So that definitely entered my mind. I have heard of afterlife, people telling their afterlife experiences. And, you hear about people that come back from suicide attempts and those that come back from just dying naturally, a car crash, heart attack, whatever, but they come back. And the stories are very different. And so that was definitely in my brain. But that was not the main contributing factor to me still being here today, 30 years later, with an amazing family, 4 kids, 5 granddaughters, with another grandbaby on the way. I mean, just blessed life. The only negative I see in my life is that I'm on the road way too much. But it's also provided my family and I a nice life. We're not rich by any means, but we're comfortable. And, I work hard for that. And I'm actually going to do a video about, and now this will be controversial, but I'm going to do a video about work ethic and getting what you want out of this life. It's something I've seen a lot of all sides. I'm not going to get off on that tangent right now, but that is a video that I'm going to do here in the next week or two, I think. So this dark time in my life, there was only one other time that I was ever even close to this. And the church I'm talking about is a Mormon church. I think they prefer to be called LDS now, but I actually went on a Mormon mission for the church back to my home country of Norway. And that was the first few weeks I was in Norway. I mean, I was so excited to go back to Norway. And then I got there, and the guy that was, they're called your companion. It's the person you live with, you go do missionary work with. I'm sorry, he was a douche. He treated me like crap. And I remember it rained every day for the first month or 5 weeks I was there. I was so depressed. If I had the money, I would have flown home. But with that church, so my parents paid for me to be on that mission. But the flights, the church paid for. And so if I wanted to go home early, I would have had to figure out a way to pay for that or ask my parents for that. I was never going to ask my parents for that. Not a chance in a million years, because I would have let them down so badly. So I stuck it out. But that first month I was out there, I literally cried myself to sleep every night as a 19-year-old, away from home. I mean, I went to college, in another country when I was 17. And so I'd been away, but this was different. It's the only time that came close to comparing to my divorce depression. So my divorce depression, this person that reached out asked me, what did you specifically do to get through it? Number one, I had a young daughter, my 4-year-old, and who's now 33, with 3 beautiful girls and another baby on the way. And man, that's why I wouldn't trade that first marriage for anything, because I got that out of it. But she was a little girl that spent a ton of time with me. I was Mr. Mom for like the last year and a half that my ex-wife and I were married. I was with my daughter all the time. We were very close. We're still very close. And that was the number one thing when I would sit there and think about what's worth living for? Why am I here? This sucks. I'm miserable. I'm so depressed. I don't have any family around me. I don't have any friends around me. I live in Colorado. I did move back to Utah, and my brother lived up in Salt Lake, so I saw him once a week, and that was nice. That did help a lot. And of course, my daughter, but none of my friends lived there. All my friends were spread all over the world, basically. So I was by myself. I rented an apartment. I got a couple of roommates, but I never clicked with those guys, which is weird because I click with most people. I can get along with almost everybody. And I did get along with them. We just weren't buddies. We didn't hang out. And I was on the road a lot. I dove into on the road and work because there was just nothing for me at home. So I was in my apartment maybe 5 or 6 days a month. And it was a really rough time. I, being a member of that church, I didn't drink, and I started drinking. And it got quite heavy for a while there. I guess escaping. I would never say I was an alcoholic or got anywhere near that, but I was using booze as a way of escaping. When I was on that Mormon mission, my escape was going to bed at night and looking forward to dreaming and being in a different world, in a different life. I did end up having a couple of my buddies come work for me, and my brother. Actually, a buddy and my brother, and the buddy is now my brother-in-law, so that's really cool. And that helped me so much, and it changed from, this drinking to escape to more of a fun, a weekend kind of thing. I don't know that I was ever in danger of, just diving into that so deeply that it got me in trouble. I never got to that point. But I think if I had been by myself for a whole lot longer, who knows, maybe. And I don't recommend that. That's not one of the things I'm saying that I used to get out of it, although I guess I kind of did, but that's not a productive thing. I would sit on my bed at night by myself. This is before I had roommates. I would just sit there on my bed alone in this nice apartment that I had with a giant big screen TV I had bought myself as a divorce present. And just think of reasons to not end it. And of course, my daughter was always at the top. But the other thing is, I consider myself a very logical, relatively intelligent person. And I knew that there would be light at the end of this tunnel. The problem was getting through this effing tunnel. You have to get through to get to the light. And that was a huge, huge deal. I ended up diving into books. I read so many books. This was 1994, early 95. And I just read book after book after book. I got really into Louis L'Amour and the whole Sackett series. If you're into Louis L'Amour at all, or Westerns, dive into that Sackett series. It's really cool. And that was an escape for me. I literally could dive into those books and I was in a different place. I started trying to get more active other than my work. I started going and playing racquetball once a week, sometimes twice a week with my brother. And we got really into that. That helped a lot. I would go down to my clubhouse and try and be around people more, because there's nothing worse when you're depressed than sitting in a dark room by yourself. Horrible idea. When I was reading, it was different because I had that escape. But if I was just sitting there by myself in the room, it was awful. It was such a dark place. It was, and if there are any of you watching this that are in that dark place, believe me, I get it. I've known other people, close people to me, that have been in a really dark place. And this is not a unique experience. I know this happens to a lot of people. It's hard to describe what it's like looking back on it. And I've had other people, like I said, close to me, talk to me about their experiences and how dark it gets. And I know every person that is experiencing this can get through it. It's, I told this person, be around people, find things you enjoy doing, hobbies, reading, jogging, riding a bike, mountain biking, canoeing, hiking, whatever. Find something and find somebody, whether that's joining a group, a club. With online stuff now, you can find tons of people that have similar interests to you. Do not be alone. Don't sit in a room by yourself feeling sorry for yourself, because that leads nowhere good. I did that for, I don't know, it's so long ago, it's hard to remember if it was several days or several weeks. It felt like several weeks where I sat there just in a dark place. And it was way better being on the road, because then I had my work. The good thing about being home is I saw my daughter a lot, and being with her, that I told her at her wedding that she saved my life, because she literally did. So, if you're in that dark place, reach out to somebody. Reach out to me. I'll talk to you. Reach out in the comments. If I can give you some advice, I'd be happy to. I'm no guru, but I do have a lot of life experience, and I might have something to offer. So, next video will be, like I said, maybe controversial, but not so deep. I don't want this to be dark, because I want it to be that there's a way out of these things. There really is. And family, friends, hobbies, interests, do stuff. Keep your mind occupied. Keep your body occupied. Try and get yourself in shape if you're not. Healthy body, healthy mind is definitely a thing. So, this was not meant to be a lecture. This was meant to be me telling my story, and maybe it'll help somebody. If it helps one person, then awesome. And like I said, if you want to comment, and if I can give you advice or just more of my story, I will. I'm happy to. Anyway, I think that's probably long enough. But I am going to get a little more serious, and there'll still be fun videos and uplifting, happy, goofy videos too. There was a channel on the History Channel for a while. I don't know if they still have it. It's called Drunk History. And they'd get a bunch of celebrities and they would all sit and tell some story, Alexander the Great or Napoleon or Cleopatra or whatever. But they would drink while they were doing it. And as they got drunker, it just got stupider and funnier. Thought about doing something like that and talking about something more lighthearted on Friday night. Mostly I just have my beers on Friday and Saturday, so I thought maybe sitting around a fire telling some goofy story from my childhood, having a few beers might be kind of funny. But yeah, I'm gonna be more me and not be afraid to share my opinion. If I get some hate, that's okay. If I get a bunch of hate, but I help one person, that's good. I'm good with that. And, if you feel the need to, I had somebody several videos ago call me a douchebag, and it was a really quite lighthearted video, but, if it makes you happy, more power to you. My goal is to try to uplift and be positive and tell some stories that maybe have a point and do something good for somebody. So I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna go. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Thanksgiving is coming up in a week, just over a week. Can't wait, be home with my family. My parents are coming down from Canada. We're gonna have a house full. I think we're gonna have like 21 people for Thanksgiving dinner, so I'm so excited for that. Bought a new dart board. We're gonna go play some cricket, if you know darts. Anyway, give me a thumbs up if you dig it. Give me a comment. Ask me if you need to ask me something. I will answer you. So I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of the week. Peace. Love.